Hey Tim, so much for New Year's resolutions. I've really hesitated to make this video for a lot of reasons. I know it's going to be long. I don't know how long. You've had a lot of good video responses, but I don't think any of them really got to the hearts of the matters that you brought up. And I have my own ideas about it. I made some comments on the video that on their surface could be taken as flippant. I think if somebody were to take the time to really think about them, they wouldn't be so flippant, but anybody who does consider them flippant can certainly be excused for thinking so. That was sort of my intent. I haven't even got to play with my new toy yet. And here I am taking out time to make this response. There are, as I see it, three things that need to be addressed in your video. And that's what I'm going to try to do. And I'm going to separate them into three parts. The first one would be, who are you? What is your purpose? What about your legacy? And finally, and most difficultly, what is the purpose of life? What does this all mean? I'm not sure how serious you are about asking about yourself, what your purpose is, what the meaning of your life is. This is something I struggled to death with in my late teens and early 20s, hoping to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And I finally matured enough to realize that it's a stupid question. Nobody can tell you what the purpose of your life is. Nobody can tell me what the purpose of my life is. I don't think I'm going to upset anybody's philosophy by saying that. It's pretty obvious. What I figured out eventually is stop asking yourself questions that neither you nor anyone else can actually answer reasonably. What I said to myself was, well, ask yourself a question you can answer. And in my case, that question was, what will I do? From then on, it was easy. I just figured out what my interests and skills were and worked towards getting myself integrated into the real workaday world using those skills and interests, to make a long story short. And what I discovered, and I think what everyone does discover, is that what you do ultimately defines what your purpose is and what the meaning of your life is. As you know, I ended up in a field that combined my interests in electronics and IT and biology, and I got into the business of directly in some cases and not so directly in other cases saving people's lives. Other people have other purposes, but everybody serves a purpose by their life. Sometimes it's for ill, sometimes it's for good, but ultimately what you do defines who you are, I think. So I have to ask myself, are you now asking yourself this about yourself now in some different sense from the way a young person would? I'm not sure about that. I offer you condolences on the loss of your aunt, by the way. We all know that you were affected by that and that generated this kind of thinking from you. But really, don't you think that what you've done in your life up to now kind of answers your own question? I would think so. Now, moving on to the next part. Everybody leaves a legacy, Tim. Everybody. Even an aborted fetus leaves a legacy. As long as there are human beings on the earth, every human creature leaves a legacy of some sort. The tricky part is that we don't necessarily know the legacy, but it's still there. It's still rippling out through humanity throughout all time, making subtle and not so subtle changes to everything. As I say, even an aborted fetus, because no woman who has to have an abortion, whether through choice or necessity, goes unaffected by that. The woman is permanently changed in some way. And when a person is permanently changed, they permanently change their interactions with other people. This affects how they interact with these people. In other words, being different from if the event of the abortion had never occurred, so that all these people that go on and affect other people's lives, based on their interaction with this one person, in one way or another, however subtle, are changing everything. So even an aborted fetus leaves a permanent legacy on the human race. Another example, when many years ago, long time ago, I saved a kid from drowning. He was 12 or 13 years old. I have no idea what happened to him. I don't know if he's still alive. But whatever he did after that is a part of my legacy. You know, he may have gone on and become a murderer, or he may have gone on and had 12 kids. I have no clue. But the point is that whatever it was that he did is part of my legacy. By doing that one act, I changed everything. And this gets kind of mind-boggling when you think about it, but I don't think it's deniable. You have children, so you've certainly left a genetic legacy. Of course, there's no telling how long that will go. I mean, will your children have children? Will their children have children? Probably, but at some point, the particular heritage, if you want to call it that, of you will be forgotten. Nevertheless, you're in the gene pool now. And that's, as far as human evolution or evolution in general is concerned, that's the only thing that matters as far as genetic legacies are concerned. I mean, genes do not care where they are. In fact, you have in you a lot of genes that I could find in, say, a corn plant or a planaria worm. Same genes, or very similar genes, do the same things. Clearly, we can. I don't want to get too complicated, but take my word for it. We know they're the same genes. There may have been some mutations along the line, but the odds of them not being the same genes are in the billions and billions to one. So leave it at that. I think my point here is getting lost because I'm rambling a little bit. In my own case, for example, I'm not in the gene pool. I have not had children, so I don't really feel bad about that because, first of all, as everyone knows, good people can have bad kids and bad people can have good kids. And I've still, as I explained before, made my legacy. I may never know what that legacy is, but I'm confident, beyond all doubt, that I have a permanent legacy on the human race. I have changed everything for everyone by the things that I've done. And that's good enough for me. Now, let's go on to part 3. What's the meaning of life in general? Why are we here? I don't have the answer for that question. I don't think anybody can claim to have the answer for that question. I have an answer that satisfies me and a few other people, but anyone who claims to have the answer is, I think, starting to get into the area of religion and that's not a place I want to go.